And we're live.
I don't know if we ever discussed, and maybe I'm wrong. I've talked about it in my private life, but like the missionary who went to the island of uncontacted peoples and got
I was
arrowed
just
the
thinking
fuck
of
up.
him.
Interesting story as well. There's the woman who farted very loudly in like the Dollar General.
Can we do the mercenary, dude? Have we discussed him on the show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big difference.
What is it? That is different. Yeah, if he was a mercenary, he would have fared better.
He would have fared much better. So I want to say it's a very remote island off the coast of India, I think, because now
way
they're trying to
off the coast, though. Like, did you see it on a map? I'm gonna try and
I think
find
it's called North Sentinel Island.
And these people on this island are like an uncontacted tribe for the most part, and they've been genetically isolated for like 30,000 years or something like that, some absurd amount of time. They're their own people, and this dumbass missionary goes over there and tries to press his religious beliefs on these people, and go figure, they shoot him full of arrows. Apparently got him in the eye. An accurate bunch over there. They arrowed him the fuck up, killed his ass. And now, like, I believe that the U.S. is asking India to go in and recover the body, and the Indians are like, no, we don't. We call that Death Island. No, last time we sent some people over there, we sent them a bit of curry, and they never came back. They were eaten. They were eaten by the island.
We should like airdrop them just modern snacks.
Jesus.
Because they would love that. Like, they'd probably be really happy. Or if they just like, if they saw an Indian guy just like slingshotting them Pringles or something.
You joke? Someone did that. They pull up on a boat to the shallows and they start throwing coconuts at these motherfuckers on the beach. And they're collecting those coconuts like it's fucking They're like, oh, fucking free coconuts. And they're just like they keep like dropping them, when like a kid or
they're
like
so happy with their coconuts.
In the Tom and Jerry cartoons, the mouse would like keep trying to get all of the cheese, and he'd have it like 8 times taller than him, but he keeps dropping it all, and he wants more cheese, but he just every time he gets a new piece of cheese, he drops 2 more, and that's how they are with these coconuts.
That's their culture. Like 50 years from now, like grandkids are gonna be like, Grandpa, tell me about when the coconut man came. Dude. Oh, you won't believe it, son. This man came with it was, if it was a dozen, it was 1,000. I tell you, even coconut. But I mean like real snacks, like stuff they can't get Reese's Fast Breaks there.
They didn't even. They had like wooden tools for ages, right? That was the best they could do, and then a boat accidentally ran aground on shore, right? And I think a helicopter came and rescued the people off the boat. They didn't even go on the island because they were like attacking them from the island. And there's a reason for that I'll circle back to. But now they have metal tools. They've been taking slices of metal off of this sunken ship for like 30, 50 years now. And just now they have like wooden or metal arrowheads and stuff like that. It turns out that a long time ago, like in the 1800s, this guy came to their island and treated them like animals. Right, they're like measuring their dick, and they're like measuring their dick to see how long it is, and like looking at their breeding, writing down notes, and treating them like probing them and shit. And ever since then, as soon as a white guy comes to the island, they're like, "Fuck that!" and they just start immediately shooting arrows at him. And this missionary was like, it could be a little dicey, but I'm gonna try and bring them the word of God. And they're like, "No way, we are not interested in your fake God." And they killed him. God did not protect him.
Here's the great coconut in the sky protect us.
Here's let me link it to you, but you probably want to like screen this on a different screen, Woody, because even though it's like Nat Geo style nudity, like you can still see some dicks on there. I'm not sure how strict they would be, but this is just from a Twitter thread of this guy who is like apparently obsessed with this whole thing you were just discussing of that guy going over there in the 1800s. So the first part is just a picture of this dude who's like a fucking foot taller than all these other adults because he got nutrition and wasn't like waiting for the coconut man to show up. But this guy's beginning of explanation is, there's a lot of talk about how the missionary killed by the natives of North Sentinel Island. They're probably so aggressive because of this weirdo, Maurice Vidal Portman. So here's a big thread about this creeps and some of facts from my decade-long obsession with the island. The Sentinelese are often described as uncontacted. That's not true. They had a very significant contact in 1880 with Commander Portman. Portman, the black sheep son of some minor noble, was assigned by the English Royal Navy to administer and pacify the Andaman Islands, a job he pursued from 1880 to 1900 with the full measure of his own pervacity.
Pervacity. So he's a pervert. I had
He's
to
a big
process the
pervert.
word. Yeah.
Portman was erotically obsessed with the Andamanese, and he indulged his passion for photography by kidnapping members of various tribes and posing them in mock Greek homoerotic compositions.
Nice.
During his 20 years in a sexualized heart of darkness, Portman measured and cataloged every inch of his prisoners' bodies with an obsessive love on genitals. This is something from the guy's diary. Lending support to Mary Louise Pratt's notion of bodyscape and theocolonial gaze, male genitalia appear to have been a particular point of fascination. Oh, this is not from this. This is analysis of it. Sorry. Appear to be a particular point of fascination for Portman and Molesworth. One man is described as having, quote, atrophied testicles, both being hard but the size of hedge sparrows' eggs. The same individual is also marked by the observation penis small with moderate size prepuce. Another one, penis larger than usual, summarizes a man named Churko. Tlee is described as the chief of Interview Island and a man of considerable authority and intelligence, but also equipped with a bad temper and genitals that are, quote, fully developed but small.
This guy.
See, he's like, he was trolling in 1880. Just imagine being a Neolithic person spending a few weeks in this guy's rotating menagerie. Portman spent most of his time in the greater Andaman Islands, but in 1880 he landed on North Sentinel. The natives fled, and his party ventured inland to find a settlement which had been abandoned in haste. But they located an elderly couple and a few children they were able to abduct. The couple died quickly, likely from ailments to which they had no immunity. The children spent a few weeks with Portman doing God knows what, after which he returned them to the island. Portman returned on a couple occasions, but the Sentinelese hid each time. The story related by the children was certainly passed down among the 100 or so inhabitants of the island, and even today. Portman's fatal kidnapping is just beyond a human lifetime. So when the Indian government attempted contact and anthropologists in the 1960s and 70s, the Sentinelese were understandably hostile to outsiders. In 1981, a cargo ship named the Primrose ran aground on the coral reef surrounding North Sentinel. The crew radioed for assistance and settled in for a long wait. But in the morning, they saw 50 men with bows on the beach building makeshift boats. The crew called for an emergency airlift and were evacuated, and not a moment too soon. Rough waves had thwarted the Sentinelese in their attempts to board, but the weather was clearing. The ship and its cargo were left at the island awaiting discovery by Neolithic eyes. Today you can see the gutted remains of the Primrose on Google Earth. Imagine climbing on board that ship, a completely alien vessel filled with alien things. Imagine seeing simple machines for the first time, a hinge, a latch, a wheel, things that would instantly make sense in a satisfying way. Others would be so incomprehensible to avoid notice. I have never been able to find out what the cargo was on the Primrose in all my years of reading. There are about 100 tons of some sort of consumer product on board, and I'm curious what it was. But even absent the cargo, think about all the things that must have been on that ship. In the 90s, anthropologists returned to the island to make new attempts at contact. They were met with a different attitude. Not friendly, but they were willing to accept gifts. Here's a video of the encounter. You can notice that these pre-Iron Age people now had metal weapons, like the knife carried by this man. They had scavenged metal from the Primrose and cold forged it into tools. This just goes on for a while, so I'm gonna stop there.
Am I the only one who doesn't think that these uncontacted tribes need to be preserved like some sort of fucking Neolithic like world in a bottle or something, like a snow globe of ancient times?
You think that we should catalog their penis sizes?
Look, we should go in there and just
a confident man, but a small dick.
Weird, he got leadership position at 5 inches.
Lots of power, but small.
Much larger than right, but both quite firm.
And I also don't believe that they like walk in there and they see a latch the first time and they're like, "Oh!" Like I don't.
You don't think so?
If I walk on an alien ship and there's something that I've never even conceived of on there, I don't see it and go, of course, this is how you do this. Like I feel like you need some sort of like teaching method to get you off, you know?
That's
like
racist.
What?
Yeah, I don't know, Taylor. Like it's weird because I feel like the kinds of things that I would learn from are no longer simple. We figured out the simplest of simple things, like the screw and the wedge and the wheel and such. But these guys, they didn't have all that worked out. I wonder what
you could totally see something that you hadn't personally worked out, but you could immediately recognize utilitarian nature of it and you'd be like, so that's how that works. Like if you found a wheelbarrow but with no wheels, but when you grab the handles it just started levitating, you'd be like, oh shit, look at this. It's a levitating wheelbarrow. And to them, they see a wheelbarrow and they're like, oh shit, we've just been dragging things around on flattened out logs since time immemorial.
We were told for thousands of years you will not improve on the laid down log method. Like there's one guy there who crops up every few generations who's like, God, fucking Ubudo over there, thinking he's gonna change the world with his latches and his knobs. And get this. He chopped a tree into segments, right? Keep listening. Hilarious, I know. Puts a hole in the middle, a stick through that, rolls it around, calls it a wheel. What's wrong with pulling a log, Ubuntu? You're too good for log pulling. That's probably what they go through there.
He is too weak to pull log.
I was
They'll
thinking,
laugh at him.
like, ever think like go? At what period of time would you be a genius? Right?
Probably never.
I'm no astronomer, but my basic understanding of stars and Earth rotations and the planets would be pretty elite at some period of time.
Yeah, but you couldn't prove it, right? I feel like it depends. If you really put some thought into it, I feel like you could go back to like the early 1900s and you could really get some shit done, right? Like you would hire the experts to put your ideas into practice. Like I don't know how to make penicillin, but I know how to make penicillin, right? It's bread mold. So if I got myself like a couple of like 1897 scientists together and was like, look, I don't know when penicillin was invented, by the way, clearly. I think it was early 1900s.
1930s, I think.
In any case, I'd be like, look, there's this thing called penicillin. It's literally bread mold. I don't know if it's a special bread. I don't know if we gotta get some rye or some pumpernickel. I don't know if it needs to be moist first, if somebody needs to poop on it. But this bread mold cures everything. Absolutely everything that we've had a problem. Syphilis, say no more. 3 days, you're good to go.
Dude, I have the same problem of not exactly knowing enough to be useful. Like, guys, exactly. I know that with a lemon or a potato or something, I can make a battery. That's as much as I know. So we're going to be poking around with wires and shit for somebody. Anyone have a small light bulb? We can see if it's working.
Also, by the way, has anyone invented wires yet? Shit. All right.
I'm going to need to go.
No, like, I'm so fucking dumb. Like, I would be trying to, like, come up with a thing, like, an invent the math needed to prove that, like, a star placement there was different. But really, I just have to go to one of the smart people at the age and be like, hey, that star I'm pointing at right now, tonight, remember where that is? And then the next morning, I'd be like, it's over there now.
I'm pretty sure
I don't know what it means, but you do. Like, we're moving.
I'm pretty sure I know how to cure the bubonic plague, or at least the bubonic plague. I read like two different things. One sounds very painful, but it involves lancing the boils and cauterizing them. Apparently, that's a big part of curing it. And you get those boils in like your armpits or in your lymph nodes and stuff. And the other involved taking the scabs from other people who had the plague off of said boils, drying them out, and then the person snorts them. And
so
it's
like own kind of.
I feel like we're pretty close to surviving that scale disease in Game of Thrones with Kyle's techniques there.
I swear to God, I'm not making this up. Like I want to say I read that like the Arabics had figured out that if they took the dried scabs of a plague victim and ground them up and then snorted them, that was like a vaccine for bubonic plague, because you're getting a weakened version of the plague.
I'm way too much of a snowflake, because in my head all I can think of is Arabics racist?
No, yeah.
I did. Yeah. No, I don't think. I think it's just improper grammar more than anything.
I don't know. Yeah, I can't say anything without wondering. I think I referred to Mexicans as Mexicans a little while ago, and I had to process it. No, that one's okay.
Yeah, it's weird how there's been sort of a derogatory like thing put on Mexican, right? But it's because so many people are like, yeah, there's damn Mexicans.
Yeah, and
that sounds bad.
Actually, that's an appropriate way to refer to Mexicans. Okay, I'm clear. Yeah, anyway, it's tricky now.
I wonder what the next one to go is. Like, when is person of color going to revert back to what colored person was? Where they're like, actually, we don't like this either. Like, and then they decide to move that to something new.
I just hope Savage American becomes a thing.
Oh, I wanted to become a thing.
I think that's an
so
uphill fight you guys are waging. Tough.
I've got my Savage American jersey on here.
Oh, yes, you do.
I really like that jersey.
Actually, while you wear that jersey, you're allowed to say it.
That's right. I am one of the tribe, technically.
One of the tribe. Yeah, you're at least as Native American as Elizabeth Warren.
I knew that was coming.
Probably more. You've got high cheekbones.
Mm.
Not very dark hair though.
No, I don't. My mother was blonde, but Dad's got black hair. Yeah, a nice little mixture there. I like
Evened out.
Yeah, it evened
Well, I
out.
like what would your gift be if you were showing up at one of those islands? Like it's got to just be something that you can carry. How about that?
Man,
Something
I
that you
think
can-
a fucking sword. Like
I
first
was
of all,
gonna bring a shield, like
I-
Captain
I know,
like
America's
gift
shield.
for them. Like,
I mean, well, you know,
they flip it over and put rice in it or something to start cooking it. I feel like
they might like
bad,
that.
like a legit sword, like a nice, real chopping sword, or maybe just a good axe, like a good splitting maw or something like that. Like something that's both impressive to look at, clearly alien to them because of its workmanship, and utilitarian. Like if you just give them like a fucking iPad, like where are they gonna charge that bitch up at, right? That is God for like 12 hours. However
Well,
long
you
an
need
iPad
a
battery
potato
lasts.
and some wires, and the rest I don't understand.
I think they're gonna have a hard time charging it with a low current tater. They're gonna eat the tater like halfway through, like charging that thing. They're like, can we just eat the potato?
because you just like give them seeds.
Oh,
That
you're
would
talking
require
about introducing them to
patience.
agriculture? That's a long talk when we're drawing in sand.
What if you show up with some barbed wire and teach them about the fence?
I don't want to bring them anything that they're going to immediately use to kill me in hopes
You
that I
want
have.
to teach them domestication? I think that might be even harder.
Is it?
You're right. After I said it, I'm like I'm going to be like, all right, you put the seed in the ground. No, you don't dig it up right away. Like, it takes
good now.
It takes a, so then we put the sea water on. No, no, you don't do that.
They're pissing on it or something.
Ah.
This is some Jack and the Magic Beanstalk shit. It's about as believable to them as like that story is to us. I think you give them a fucking sword, man. Because I'm just imagining like they've probably got something similar to a sword now, like they make those wooden swords in the Amazon, and apparently there's hardwood there that's legitimately hard enough you can make like a cutting implement out of it and kill a man with it. But if you showed them a fucking stainless steel saber, like one of, or maybe one of those cold steel like swords that they make for like zombie defense or whatever the fuck, and you handed it to Chief Nabumbo, and like of course he'd immediately go decapitate one of his enemies with it, and he'd love you. That'd
Dude,
be
you would
big for
start
him.
a civil war if you brought one sword.
And you'd be on the winning side.
No, bow
You
and
would
arrow is
be.
not a bad thing.
Oh, a legit bow and arrow.
That's how they killed the
It's-
missionary.
A compound bow.
Am I
Yeah,
saying it right, missionary? Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
What did I
Yeah,
call
yeah.
him before?
Mercenary.
Yeah, all right. Now I'm all caught up.
If you not even maybe a compound bow, because those like eventually go bad, and but like recurve bows, like that's another step up in the technology, right? Like they've got those silly bows they've got, and then I guess you'd have the long bow and then the recurve bow where the ends go back the other way, and it adds a tremendous amount of extra power, 20 or 30% or something like that, and then just a shit fucking ton of wooden arrows, like good ones. They'd be blown away by that. They'd love that
I
shit.
think like what would endear them the most to you would be like a big cooking set, like a bunch of pots and pans and shit. That'd be so much easier for them. And then like normal knives to cut things up,
Knives
like
would
a
be
knife
big.
set and like a pot and pan set.
Pair
They
of
would
blue
love that.
jeans would blow them the fuck away.
Oh, bring jeans but you know what? Oh, this would be hilarious. You bring jeans, but you bring like jeans that are way out of style. Like I'd bring like jean
Jinko.
code jeans from the 90s, and
Huge
I'd
leg.
hand them out. Huge leg jean code jeans. So then when the coconut man shows up, they've got these enormous big legged pants. That
I
they're
got a
all
better
wearing.
one. What if like unbeknownst to them, because they don't know shit, you dress them up as the village people. You just got a bunch of Indian police officer, firemen, like the whole bit, and they're all standing there proud of their new their new fucking
New
clothes,
duds.
and you're just like, they don't know they're the village people.
That would be hilarious. Like you go there and you're the king, and you like teach them English, and you make them like act out American shows.
This version of House of Cards isn't half bad.
Very small constituency, not a lot to gain or lose, doesn't seem, but whatever.
I don't know how Frank's gonna get away with this one.
Yeah. He's molesting the kids of the island. Oh,
Well, yeah, he's
gotta make
It's,
it Claire's
me-
show now. Is
method
that show
acting.
been on yet?